Hey everybody, I stumbled upon something that I want people to think about. So recently there was the massive wildfires in Hawaii, and I want you to remember something about Hawaii. Um, this land that went up in these wildfires is the second most expensive land on the planet, except for London, England. Okay, there's certain places in London that are more expensive. Than this, but this is the second most desired land on the planet. There's people in Hawaii that have lived in this, that have land here, that have been offered 50 million, 20 million for their land, and they've turned it down because it's family land, and it's such a historical place where it's such a beautiful historical, like they have tradition there, they have family there, they have roots there. They won't sell their land even for 20, 50 million. And all of a sudden these wildfires hit Hawaii, and all of their land is now magically taken because now the government's decided they can confiscate this land. But you know what you saw there is that a lot of these millionaires that live there on the beachfront, their houses, their mansions were all fine. So that's kind of interesting because there's an interesting video that went out that showed that all the billionaires and millionaires mansions out there, they just happened to avoid the fires. But I remembered something when this story came out that kind of reminded me. And if you look at this video here on YouTube, look, 7 months ago. Okay, so as of today, today's September 17th. This video came out 7 months ago. So let's take a look at this video here.
A very unusual sight captured on camera. Japanese and local astronomers say a Chinese satellite was recently seen beaming down green lasers over the islands. This video captured atop the Subaru telescope on Mauna Kea, operated by the National Astronomical Observatory of Japan. Bryce Moore has the story.
The lasers flash for just a couple seconds. Initially thought to be from a NASA altimeter satellite, the Japanese put out a correction note on Monday saying NASA scientists found a most likely candidate as the ACDL instrument by the Chinese Daki-1 AEMS satellite. I went to a University of Hawaii astronomer who read up on AEMS instruments.
It's a Chinese satellite that is measuring pollutants, among other things. It has many different instruments on it, some kind of topographical mapping, or they're also
Topographical mapping.
used for measuring stuff in the Earth's atmosphere, and I think that's what it is, to environmental measurement satellite.
I also sat down with the former Chief of Staff of Marine Forces Pacific. He had some questions.
I'm not sure, this is my opinion, why the Chinese, who are probably some of the most prolific polluters on the planet, would be collecting data on pollutants on this side of the Pacific.
Both experts say this isn't explicitly a spy satellite. It is cataloged and known by governments around the world.
The U.S. has satellites that do the same thing. So in this case, despite all of the flurry, well-deserved flurry about Chinese spy satellites and other devices, this one is just orbiting Earth and has a known orbit.
The footage was taken January 28th, before the recent incident where a Chinese balloon traversed over the mainland U.S. before being shot down off the coast of South Carolina. Which brings the question, how much is the Chinese military seeing?
They can shut down any communication nodes that they want if they believe that, I think, the public is getting too much information. So yeah, I think it's more probably military than anything else. That's makes sense.
I had to ask,
is this a risk to locals, to Hawaii?
No, it's not a risk to Hawaii or any place else. We have aircraft making these kind of measurements all the time. If you've seen topographical maps with high precision, those are made using sometimes this kind of thing.
It seems to me that those tensions are there. People are a little antsy, and you know, I think we just need to be a little bit more aware, vigilant.
I reached out to the United States Space Force to see how often Chinese satellites scan Hawaii airspace and if there's been an explanation from China. Officials are working on getting me a response, and we'll bring that to you as soon as we hear back. Bryce Moore, KHON2 News, working for Hawaii.
Okay, so let's just think about this for a second. This is interesting stuff because I saw this when this happened and I didn't think much about it. You know, it's kind of odd, but So what I've read is that this is a measurement system that the lasers can kind of topographically, forgive me if I said that wrong, but it can basically judge, if you were to scan, like for instance, the bottom of the ocean with something, and you could judge each kind of crevice. This is what those lasers kind of can do. They kind of give a like a computer system a a basically a measurements of the exact shape of every part of the land. So this is very interesting now that we know what just happened in the unprecedented event that just happened in Hawaii with these fires that burned up these expensive houses and land. So whether this was a Chinese satellite, an American satellite, whoever was responsible for this was kind of judging this land here with their lasers, and they were taking an account of the measurements, which is extremely interesting considering what we now know has happened there. And do I know that these are connected? Absolutely not. I don't know that they're connected, but this is very interesting that we kind of forgot about this incident 7 months ago, as you see here. So today is September 17th, and as we see, 7 months ago is when this happened. So this has not been mentioned, because they would just label this, oh, this is a conspiracy, blah, blah, blah. But this is interesting stuff. Why those lasers just happen to be shining there, right, just over this area where this unprecedented event happened, I don't believe in coincidences, so and neither should you. When something unprecedented happens, you shouldn't just, oh, there was some lasers shooting there 7 months ago. That was probably just a coincidence. Yeah, how about no? How about we look into why the lasers were shining down and judging the second most expensive land on the planet? Okay, this is extremely interesting stuff with all the wildfires that are going on now. Now we have to start to worry: is this some sort of magnifying laser type event that's being these fires are being set on purpose? Because there's a lot of people benefiting from this stuff. When this land goes up for grabs, instead of paying 50 million, and now you're paying 100,000, or you're getting it for free because the government's giving it to certain people. That's a huge transfer of wealth, right? So whenever a huge transfer of wealth happens, we need to start to look in and ask questions, because we've seen how psychotic and sick these bastards, these people are out there, excuse my language, that would do stuff like this. So we need to take every single piece of evidence into account. And I think we need to look at this and say, what was this about? All right, thanks for checking out the video, everybody.